Welcome to day 18 of my 30-day reflection series. My name is Shawn Aaron, he, him, his. And today's reflection question is, what do you wish cis allies would do more of right now? So thank you for this question. I want to reflect on an episode in Dem Bois Podcast. And so, for folks that are just tuning in, just joining me today for the first time, I am the founder and executive director of Dem Bois Inc. I'm also the host of Dem Bois Podcast. And for folks who have been rocking with me for the last 17 days, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you supporting me on this quest to engage for 30 days. If you like this content, if some of the things that I've talked about over the last few days resonated with you, please be sure to share out with folks in your networks and share with folks who you think would benefit or would enjoy some of my conversations. And also, I would like folks to tag in the comments, join, interact with me, right? And so, some of the questions that I pose, go ahead and answer some of those questions so we can have some dialogue and create conversation around some of these topics. And so, around this question of what do you wish cis allies would do more of right now? And so, I'm going to plug in episode 56 of Dem Boys Podcast. And so, the guest was Sydney. And so, Sydney had two parts. And so, that was episode 55 and also episode 66. Oh, excuse me, episode 55 and episode 56. And so the two episodes of part one and part two. And so within part two, the title of the episode is A Ballroom Story Part Two: History, Culture, and Euphoria. And so Sydney talked in this episode 56 about what he would like to see from cis allies. And so I also made a list. And so if you've been watching a few days now, you know I make me a list, right? So I want to make sure I hit all the points that I personally want to make. And then I want to invite you all to answer some things about this content. And so I'm going to plug in episode 56 and just listen for a couple of minutes of what Syd said about cis allyship.
For me, trans storytelling is so important. It's so important that we tell our stories because, I mean, especially from a Hollywood stance, I'll just say I've been in enough rooms where cis people are trying to dictate to me what a trans narrative is or saying, truly outrageous things. And mind you, what's I think more damaging is the fact that these people think of themselves as allies. That was the vibe because that is the vibe. And,
Yeah.
it's like we want to love these trans parents, but child, you are not trans. Your kid is trans. You know
Yeah.
your child, and that is it.
That is it. Yeah.
That is it. And we want to love you, but you need to fall back. Like, seriously, pass the mic.
Yeah.
Know when it's your time to speak on it, and know when this is the difference between knowing when to be an advocate or an ally or an accomplice. And these people really, really don't understand. Your time for advocacy is not when I'm in the room.
Mm.
Your time for advocacy is when I am not in the room, not when I am in the room. Because I could speak for myself, I could speak for my community, and that is why I'm fucking here. And guess what? I earned the right to be here because I worked my ass off fucking 5, 10 times more than half of the people in this room. So that's
So once again, that was episode 56 of Them Boys Podcast. I'll go ahead and plug that in below in the description so you can get an opportunity to check out Syd's episode part one and part two. And so what Syd was saying was be an ally when I am not in a room. And so allyship is when I am not in the room. And when I am in the room, I can speak for myself. And so I thought that was very important message for folks that are listening that are allies of like, yes, you want to be an ally, but I don't need you to speak on my behalf when I'm here. I need you to speak on my behalf because it means much more when I'm not in the room. And so I always like to take some notes because I want to make sure I hit all the points. I don't want to miss anything. And so I wrote a list of about 5 things on my my list. And yes, it's an uneven number for folks who listen days before. I have always added an extra point because I want to make it even because I love even numbers. But today, I'll just keep it odd. I'm gonna go against the grain within myself and keep it odd. So anyway, allyship. So number one, I said allyship is action, right? And so when we think of allyship and what allies are supposed to do, just acknowledging that you're an ally is not enough, right? It takes action. What are you actually doing to show that you're an ally, right? So, in Sydney's words, it's like if you really want to support, stop asking, start watching, listening, and stepping up. So, that means not asking what it is, but actually doing the work to physically and with the work being an ally, right? And so, it is, you can actively interrupt transphobia in your homes, your friend circles, and your workplace, right? So that's active, being active and not just um, being in action and not just in an awareness, right? And so number two, I put stop making it about you. So allies, please stop making it about you. Because if you were saying you're an ally, it's not about you, it's about the community who you are taking on allyship for, right? And so allies sometimes say, well, what can I do? Right? And asking a trans person, what can you do, is centering your comfort. So it's not what can you do? It should be more of what do you want me to do? Right. And so if someone asks me what can they do, one thing that I would say gently would be like, you're not the one under attack. Why are you waiting for me to guide you? That's where that first one comes in, right? Of stepping into action, right? So it's not sitting in the background saying, oh, I'm an ally, but what can I do? But actually taking that allyship and transferring it into doable things and then doable actions, right? And so then my third thing is like have hard conversations in cis spaces. This is big. And this is also about being an ally when I'm not in a room. So if we were in the barber shop, you're a cis ally, and you hear folks in the barbershop talking. I'm saying barbershop because we tend to know that, especially within Black communities, barbershops, beauty salons, that's normally where a lot of the conversations happen, right? Where you getting to debrief your life and things that you've experienced since the last time you got your haircut. And so you divulging all these things out in spaces with folks that are assumed identities as yourself, that you feel comfortable, and you tend to have unfiltered conversations, right? So as an ally, your allyship would show up in spaces when conversations around trans folks or trans people's lives aren't conducive to procuring out the truth, right? And so that's when, as an ally, you would step up and say, hey, wait a minute, I invite you to think of things this way. Or I have some trans folks in my life, or saying I am a trans ally. And maybe I would invite you to think of it in this way or that way, right? And so it's really stepping into those spaces and stepping out of your comfortability in order to support people who you are allies for, right? And so it's like calling out transphobia when you see people talking about things that sound or are transphobic, calling them out on it, right? Or calling them in, I should say, especially when we're not in a room. And so that could be your group chats, it could be staff meetings, it could be, like I said before, the barber shop, any of these spaces where there aren't any trans folks present that that are visibly present, right? And so my fourth thing is consistency. Consistency means being consistently an ally all the time, not just when it's comfortable for you. If you are a true ally, it means you are ally at all times, right? It's about integrity, really, right? Integrity is what? Doing the right thing even when no one's watching. So allyship can be linked with integrity. So being an ally for trans folks, for the trans community consistently when we're not in the room, right? So it's not just showing up on Wednesdays. It's not just showing up on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. It's showing up Sunday through Saturday. So all days, right, is representing as an ally. And so the fifth thing I said was model courage and accountability. And so within the episode, Sydney said to allies to be brave, be brave, right? And so bravery is not just about protecting us. It's about what I said before about being able to step outside of your comfort zone of being comfortable, to be uncomfortable, to truly represent yourself as an ally. And so those are just a few things that I wrote down that I feel like I would like to have if someone said that they're an ally of Shawn. These are the things that I would say. I would want someone who is an ally of me as a trans person, as a black trans man. If you are my friend and you are a cis-assumed person, and I want to say, folks, I know that some folks don't like the word cis, and so I will honor that, right? And so if you are a person who is not trans identified and you are an ally and you are my friend or you are someone that knows me, and I'm not going to say friend lightly, because if you are my friend, and that word and that term friend, then you are an ally of mine if you're not trans identified. And so I expect my allies to be in action. I expect the people in my life who are allies to not make it about them, right? I assume, and I want my friends who are allies to have conversation in spaces that I'm not in, when they're just in spaces with other cis assumed folks, right? I want my friends who are allies to be consistent. And I also want my allies to be brave. And I know that, oh, I ain't got to worry about that person because I'm not in the room, but I know they got my back and they going to defend me when I'm not here. Right. And so I call you and I ask you, for folks who are listening, who are watching and are not trans identified, comment below. Not just telling me what and how you feel, but what are you committing to do as an ally? Maybe it might be one of the 5 things that I listed out, or maybe it's something that I didn't list, but you as an ally feel like it's very important to you and your allyship. Please comment below. And for folks who may be trans identified, what is it that you're looking for from an ally? What are you looking for an ally to do or not to do, right? Please share with me. I would love for you to engage with this video and let me know what it is and what responsibility that you feel allies should carry. So once again, my name is Shawn Aaron, he, him, his, and this is day 18 of my 30-day reflection series. So please come back and join me again tomorrow. Take care.